So, what are you waiting for, right? That's a question that you have to ask yourself. What are you waiting for? I was doing some coaching sessions today, and what I was really talking about was, how do you become successful? Someone asked me, several people asked me, what is it that I need to do to become successful? And one of the things that you have to ask yourself is, what are you waiting for? So that's what we're going to discuss today. What do you need to do to be successful? And then the first question you have to ask yourself is, what are you waiting for? So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications. Don't forget to share and like. Those two things help the channel grow. And when you get a chance, please go back and check out the other content. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. All right, so what are you waiting for? That's the first thing you got to ask yourself when it comes to being successful. Because a lot of people have been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, and they've been thinking about it for so long that months and years, a lot of times years, has gone by, and they still haven't actually done anything that's going to take them out of the situation that they're in. So you have to ask yourself, if you're going to be successful, what are you waiting for? After you've made up your mind and made the decision that, you know what, this is something that I really want to do. I want to achieve some goal that I've been waiting to achieve for so long. I want to accomplish this thing. I want to start this business that I've been wanting to start for so long. But sometimes I think some people are waiting for the right time or the right. No, there's always a better time to do something. Don't get me wrong. You gotta wait sometimes for a better time, for a better to have a more favorable financial situation to start. Is a better time for you to be able to do something. But don't wait for the perfect time, because the perfect occasion is never going to come, and you can't wait for the perfect time to do something. So there's a better time. All right, you've thought about things, you've put certain things in place, but even then, you've got to work your way to get to that point to where it's a better time. So even though you haven't quite started doing whatever it is that you want to do yet, sometimes you've got to work to put yourself in that position to be able to do that. So even that is part of the process as well. So once you've made up your mind, you say, I need to do certain things so that I'm able to actually work on this thing that I want to do. Then the moment you start working on those certain things, whatever it is, whether it's, getting your credit right, or being able to save up a little bit more money, or whatever it is to be able to get your business or your goal, or going to school, whatever it is that you want to do, the moment you start getting those things in place, you're actually already working on the goal. You don't have to actually start the goal to be working on it. As you're moving things around and you're getting your life in a position to work on that one specific thing, that is already you working towards the goal, because it's like you're clearing the field. So if the goal is you want to be able to plant something, I don't know, some type of vegetation, or get some veggie or some garden or whatever it is going. But first thing you got to do is you got to be able to clear all the brush, right? You got to from the time you start doing that, you're already working towards the goal, right? Planting the stuff is part of the goal, but clearing the land and getting it ready is also a part of the goal. So there might be stuff you need to clear and do to get yourself ready to be able to accomplish the stuff that you want to do. And the moment you start doing that is the goal. No, that's the first thing you got to do. So when a lot of people say, well, what do I got to be successful? So when are you going to start? Right? When are you going to actually start? What is it that you need to do to get going? And that's where you actually start. The moment you make up your mind, you start working towards that. When after you get to that process where you're actually actively working on the item itself, the thing you're actually going after, then there are a lot of other things you got to do, such as you obviously have to be disciplined, right? And that's kind of what I'm going to discuss a little bit. Is it's what happens sometimes is we don't see the tangible results, right? We're not able to see the progress that we're making, which is why patience is so critical. It's like we're not able to see the progress that we're making. And for some people, if they can't see progress that they're making, then it's really, really, really difficult. But what happens is progress sometimes shows up months or whatever it is after, right? So if you start a business and you're selling, and you're not really making any money, so to speak. You're just kind of, you're getting by. You're getting enough to maybe buy merchandise to turn around and sell again or what. That is progress that you're making because you're actually staying in business. And that's one of the biggest things is you're still in the game. So it's like going to school, right? It might take a while for you to get to your degree, but you're actually passing classes every semester. You're well on your way to accomplishing your goal. So pay attention to the small things and be disciplined. Keep on doing what you're doing because if you're making small successes, if you're having small successes, you're making small strides as you're going, then you're actually being successful, right? Success is not just that you have the degree or you have the business or you have whatever it is, the stuff at the end of the finish line. Success is all the progress that you're making as you're moving towards the finish line. And so that's something that you have to take into consideration as well. Every small step is a successful feat that you've had. Every small step that you take, every accomplishment along the way is something to be proud of. And some people need that because they get discouraged when they don't see, they've been doing this for like 2 3 years and whatever the case is, I'm not, I thought I would be further on or whatever the case is. And sometimes you just need to hang in there just a little bit longer and to keep pushing forward because whatever it is that you're going after, it's going to show up. You just got to be disciplined and determined and be patient. Don't give up. Now, at the same time, you also have to be able to make adjustments, right? You've got to have that kind of awareness to where you realize that you're making progress, but while you're making progress, you're also learning as well, right? So as you're learning and you're making progress, you're realizing, you know what, I could adjust certain things and I could make a little bit more progress, or things could speed up a little bit more if I was to switch from doing this to now doing that. And so you have to be able to adapt as you're learning and you're growing and all that type of stuff. And so that would also help you get to your goal a whole lot faster. But then again, it's still, that goes back to being disciplined and being patient and being very aware of what is going on around you. A lot of people want to be successful, but the truth is it really there's a lot of hard work. It's like the athlete that you see that's the superstar on TV or whatever the case is, or the person that is a big time actor or actress. Those are the people we usually see a lot of times. All right. At least those are the ones that are presented. That's how success is presented a lot of times in some societies, is the famous athlete or the entertainer or whatever the case is. It's plastered on the movies, on the sports channels and that type of stuff. But the truth is, a lot of these people woke up really early in the morning for the athletes and worked out a lot. The actors sometimes did crappy jobs before they even got to that point, and they had small roles in movies and then earned their way and they moved up or whatever the case is. So there's always the behind the scenes stuff that we never see, right? The struggle that we never see, the stories a lot of times that are not told about how a person actually got to where they are right now. And there's a lot of, again, there's a lot of determination. Sometimes people go through something for 2 3 4 years. They're just hanging in there, hanging in there, hanging in there, hanging in there until they actually get where they are. So, but we see the highlights, we see the exciting stuff, we see the fancy cars, the jewelry. We know that they have money or whatever the case is. So we kind of see that stuff now. And so what that does is a lot of times we don't get to see the behind the scenes stuff. The real, before they were wearing all those fancy suits and going to awards shows or whatever the case is, we didn't get to see the stuff behind the scenes when people were really struggling and working 2 jobs or doing whatever the case is, or waking up in the morning and training and in the afternoon, the night, or whatever. A lot of times we don't see that stuff, but all of that took dedication, all of that took discipline, and then a sense of, as I said, a sense of self-awareness to be able to realize what changes they needed to make in the moment to help them get wherever they want to go. So the words for you to kind of take away from this is discipline, right? Discipline to keep on doing it over and over and over and over again. That discipline to keep on doing the right thing. The awareness to be able to change and recognize that sometimes what is right now might not be right 6 months down the road, and you need to switch whatever you're doing, that type of stuff. And then just that determination and that grit that you need to be able to push through and persevere until the end, because it's perseverance that's going to win through after all, it's perseverance that's going to win through. right? And that's why a lot of people are not successful. One, they never start because they're fearful. Well, it's probably not going to work out, and they start thinking about all the different ways it might not work out. So one thing you probably want to do is to start to think about all the different ways it could work out, or all the different ways you could perhaps make it work out, instead of thinking about all the different ways it's probably not going to work out. That's, I mean, if you psych yourself out and your self-talk is negative and you're talking down to yourself and you're reminding yourself constantly of all the things that could go wrong, and then it probably will go wrong. And then when you're faced with some kind of challenge or obstacle or whatever the case is, a lot of times people fold because they didn't have that kind of self-belief starting off in the first place. And those are things that you have to take into consideration if you want to really, be successful in life. So those are just some tips I wanted to share with you. If you have other tips that you want to share, please leave them in the comments down below. Also, as I said, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Love for you to join us on the channel, on the platform. Don't forget to share and like the videos. Those two things help the channel grow, so I really appreciate you if you do that. Now, also, please go back and check out all the content. I've got lots of content, so when you get a chance to go back and check that out. And you could also let me know what topics you'd like for me to discuss. I have no problem doing that. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch. I know you could be watching anyone's channel, but I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my channel. Please come back. And until the next time, be good. Peace.